All right, so if you're in quality assurance, you've probably felt it, right? The ground is kind of shifting under our feet. The old rules, they just don't apply anymore. AI is here, it's in production, and frankly, it's changing everything we thought we knew about testing. So let's talk about the one skill that is going to define the future of QA, model-graded metrics.
Here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with AI testing's new rules, then we'll meet the AI judge, we'll look at putting it all into practice, cover some common mindset traps to avoid, and then talk about why this is a career superpower and how you can become a future-proof tester.
So first up, AI testing's new rules. And let me tell you, your old playbook, it's just not going to work anymore.
Really, this whole thing boils down to one single, massive question that changes everything for us as testers. How in the world do you test something that is fundamentally unpredictable?
Think about it. Traditional software is deterministic. You put in X, you get out Y. Every single time. It's reliable. But AI? Oh, it's a completely different beast. It's non-deterministic. That means you can give it the exact same input multiple times and get a different, but still totally valid response each time.
And right there, that's why our old methods are failing us. We can't just write a test script that looks for an exact string match. It's useless. Instead, we have to start thinking in terms of a range of acceptable outputs. We have to start asking questions like, okay, is this response reasonable? Is it accurate? Is it appropriate? So if we can't rely on exact matches, how do we test AI? Well, the answer is pretty fascinating. We use an AI judge. And this is the core concept behind model-graded metrics.
So, what exactly is a model-graded metric? Put simply, it's a method where we use one AI model to act as a judge. This judge model then assesses the quality of another AI's output. It can check for things like relevance, factuality, or even tone, all based on a rubric that we, the testers, define.
Yep, you heard that right. You're literally using one AI to test another. It's an AI-powered evaluation for an AI-powered system. Kind of meta, right?
Okay, so that's the theory. Cool concept. But let's get practical. How do we take this from an idea and turn it into an actual test suite?
Well, it's all done in a configuration file, something like a YAML file. In there, you define your test cases, and you tell the AI judge exactly what to look for. You can even get it to check for subjective qualities, things like clarity, humor, or conciseness.
The workflow itself is actually pretty straightforward. Step 1, you define your test cases based on business needs, same as it ever was. Step 2, you create that test file, setting up your prompts and those special model-graded assertions. And finally, step 3, you run the evaluation, kick off the test suite, and then you analyze the results.
Now, here's where it gets really powerful. Not all criteria are created equal, right? This is where a technique called weighted assertions comes in. It lets you make some tests more important than others by giving them a higher weight. You know, kind of like how a teacher grades a school project, where the final essay is worth more than the homework.
And this gives you so much control. Take a look at this chart. You might decide that content accuracy, that huge 50% slice, is the most critical factor. Clarity, that's next, at 30%, and maybe brevity is worth 20%. The point is, you get to define what good actually looks like for your system.
Okay, let's talk about one of the biggest hurdles, because it's not the technology, it's us. It's the common mindset traps. This is all about unlearning what you already know from years of traditional testing.
If you take one thing away from this section, let it be this. The single biggest mindset shift you have to make is moving away from input equals exact output and embracing input equals a range of acceptable outputs.
This table really nails the practical differences. In the old world, a failure was a bug, period. Now, it might just be a data point. We used to test something once and move on. Now, you might need to run a test 10 or 20 times just to spot a pattern. And maybe, most importantly, errors aren't obvious crashes anymore. They're subtle. Think about a support bot that gives a factually correct answer, but with a slightly condescending tone. That's not a crash, but that is absolutely an error that could lose a customer.
So why go through all this trouble? Why unlearn years of experience? Because honestly, understanding this becomes your career superpower. Let's dig into why this skill matters so much, right now.
This quote, it says it all, doesn't it? The industry is moving at lightning speed, and if you're not learning how to test AI, you really do risk getting left behind. The time to build this skill wasn't next year, it was yesterday.
And here's the market reality. AI testing specialists are in crazy high demand. Companies are scrambling to build these complex systems, and they are desperate for people who can actually ensure they work correctly and safely. Knowing this stuff makes you one of the people everyone is trying to hire.
So what skills are we actually talking about here? We're talking about evaluating models for accuracy, bias, and security risks. We're talking about building automated test suites with modern tools. It's about testing against ethical guidelines, analyzing those tricky, unpredictable results, and most importantly, applying all your hard-earned QA experience to this brand new frontier. Which brings us to our final section, becoming the future-proof tester and figuring out your next steps.
And I want to be super clear about this. Your traditional QA experience is not obsolete, not at all. In fact, it's more valuable than ever. You're just taking that critical tester's mindset and applying it to a new, non-deterministic universe. You are uniquely qualified for this moment. Look, this is the evolution of our craft. It's a new set of challenges for sure, but it's also a new set of tools and a massive, massive opportunity. So the only question left to ask is, are you ready to become a future-proof tester?